chief, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to introduce yourself?
Chief Jackal, Marinette Fire Department.
All right. And today we have a few things that we'd like to talk about. One of them being heat emergencies. What do people do in a heat emergency?
So when we're talking heat emergencies, we're talking how the heat affects the of the body. You know, if
Yeah.
somebody's out doing physical activity, whether it's working, working in the yard, cutting their grass, gardening. People that have to work outside for their careers.
Hmm.
People that are outside exercising. It's important to keep an eye on your body's reacting to the heat.
Right.
Pay attention to warning signs of like heat exhaustion, sweating, fatigue, headache, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Make sure you're staying hydrated. If that starts to happen, you wanna get yourself into a cool area, get in
Hmm.
the shade, get in the air conditioning is
Oh,
better.
yeah.
Because heat exhaustion left unchecked can lead to heat stroke,
Oh.
which is life threatening. It's actually like a stroke.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, so it could be turns into a dangerous
Oh my
situation.
gosh.
You're no longer sweating, so the body can't
Can't.
regulate its temperature.
Oh.
Yeah, and you can spiral fairly quickly.
Okay. Oh gosh, I can imagine. That's like my husband has had um, heat stroke, I think. Whatever it is, he can't be in the sun for very long. Whatever it is,
Yeah,
I can't.
it takes a toll.
Yeah.
There's different theories out there that it's like an accumulative effect.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's had
it's
it.
just nothing to play around with.
No.
Make sure you're hydrated. Plenty of
Mm-hmm.
water. Sports drinks with the electrolytes. Get your electrolytes back in your
Yeah.
body. You want to be careful of like sugary drinks.
Oh, they have a nice one. I just got it the other day. It's that something IV and
Liquid IV.
liquid IV,
Yep.
and they have it in
Yep.
a sugar-free um, kind. Like I said, I just got it the other day,
And
and it works great. I love it. Yeah,
and
here we go.
contrary to popular belief, liquid
That one.
IV. Yep.
That one. Yep.
Um, Alcohol is not a good
Oh,
hydrator.
it's not. Oh my god. Coffee.
Yeah.
Definitely not coffee. Well, okay. So if you have heat emergencies, you're going to have weather emergencies, right?
Yep.
Kind
Usually,
of.
they can go hand in hand. Where you warm weather, you go and get into tornado season, you get into severe thunderstorm season. You have situations like down in Texas, with the tragedy that
Yeah.
happened down there with the flash flooding. Luckily, around here, we don't experience a lot of flash floods, at
Mm-mm.
least in the Marinette area, Marinette
Mm-hmm.
Menominee area. Usually if we get a torrential rain, we experience flooded streets.
Oh yeah.
But further north from us along the Menominee River, Peshtigo River, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, places like that, they do flood.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to, when severe weather is forecast, to listen, pay attention.
Yes.
Um, they put the early warning sirens out for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
They get tested every Friday at 4
4
o'clock.
o'clock.
So if they're going off other than Friday at 4 o'clock, that indicates there's something going on.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the thing that's probably most important is they do not sound for an all clear. When
Okay.
they sound, it's for an emergency. So,
Oh.
everybody's got that cell phone out there now with, you can put apps on your phone like WeatherBug
Oh
or
yeah.
um,
Any of those weather
the
apps.
Weather Underground one, or
Yeah. Weather
some of the
bug or
radios
some.
or
Yeah.
TV stations have their
Yeah.
weather apps. So
We
you can,
have we have our radio station apps, and as soon as we get the alerts, we cut in and announce them as well. So, which
and
works.
and just like in the wintertime, it's when they suggest that you have a survival kit for a
Yeah.
winter weather emergencies. Same thing for heat emergencies. If a storm go through and it knocks out power, you want to make sure
Yeah.
that you have a way to charge your cell phones. So again, generators,
Mm-hmm.
solar packs.
Yeah.
But with those comes their own inherent dangers. Generators that run on fuel. You don't run those in a confined
Mm-mm.
space. You don't put them in a garage. You don't put them in a basement.
Mm-mm.
you know, same, and like the solar powered battery packs, you know, those rely on run off of lithium ion batteries,
Oh,
which bring their own hazards.
yes.
So you want to be careful with that stuff, but it's
Right.
important to have a safety kit for the
Yeah.
summer months as well as.
You might as well. I mean, you're going to need pretty much everything. You know?
Yep. Yep.
And then if you have kids, you're going to need even more.
Yep.
It's just, I always, I always drove around when my kids were little with stuff in the back of the van. You know, stuff that extra clothes, extra food, extra, just extra.
Yep.
You know, because
Yep.
we were going to need it.
And it brings up a good point driving around with kids. There have been this year so far, I believe there have been 12 heat related deaths from kids in hot cars
Oh my
across
gosh.
across the country.
Yeah.
So you want to be careful of that, you know, especially parents that have the young kids, you know, a lot of sleep deprivation, and you know, you get, everybody is so busy, then you get focused on one thing that
And then
unfortunately in these cases, you know, there's some miscommunication in there. There's situations where, you know, kids will climb in a car and parents
Yeah.
don't realize they're in the car, or, you know, one parent was supposed to drop the child off and forgot to communicate that, and they get forgotten about.
Yeah.
And kids, especially infants, they can't regulate their temperature
No.
quite like adults do. So and it doesn't take long, even on a 70-degree day, it doesn't take long for a car's interior to reach 90 degrees, 100
Right.
degrees. So,
And depending on where you park, too,
yeah.
if you're parking in in direct sunlight, you know, in the middle of a parking lot. Oh,
And our car seat techs talk about that as part of their education
Mm-hmm.
when people come in and have their car
Car
seats
seats
checked. They talk about, you know, the leaving the kids in the car. And same thing with your pets.
oh yeah.
You know,
I saw one of those the other day where they were in a truck, and they only let that much of their window down. Wasn't running, wasn't anything.
yeah. So
It
want to
was,
be mindful of that.
yeah, it was so sad. But, you know, we have an event happening on Saturday, and Logging and Heritage Festival. We were just talking about this off air, but at the end of the evening, there are fireworks. So, what can we do to be safe?
So, and we were just talking. We said we were talking off air. I mentioned it's like our second 4th of July is
It
coming
is,
up. So,
yep.
And it's kind of retro going back to the last weekend. Which, I mean, there's a lot of fireworks going on around town. But all in all, we were not busy. We did not receive a call for any kind of
I know.
incident, which is good. Unlike Appleton, that responded to, I think they responded to like 10 dumpster fires for discarded fireworks. So just be mindful of the area where you're lighting them off. You know, nothing. It is illegal to light anything off that leaves the ground. Just, you know, and that's by state law, city ordinance, whatever you want to say. But if you're going to be doing the fireworks, just make sure that you're in a
Mindful.
safe area. Yep. Kids shouldn't be letting off fireworks, or they should at least, older kids should be supervised.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most important things, though, is when you're done with the fireworks, you should soak them down
Oh, definitely.
in water before you throw them in a garbage can or a
Right.
dumpster or whatever. They suggest soaking them overnight just to make sure.
Yeah, we always did that, and then just the next day threw them in the fire pit or something.
Yep,
You
get
know.
rid of them.
Yeah,
And
just
be
get rid of
careful
them.
with the ones that
That you
don't go
thought-
off.
Yeah, you think they're duds? They're not duds.
So.
They have in there.
But yeah, come on out to the logging fest and have a good time on
Yeah.
Saturday, and a parade on Sunday.
Yeah.
Just on Riverside, and the car show.
Car show, and there'll be food trucks, and oh my, they
Kinds
have
of
12
activities.
food trucks this year. Yum.
Should be a good time.
Should be. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming in and sharing all this information that, you know, a lot of people aren't aware of, you know, heat and just weather in general. I mean, a lot of times they don't pay attention. I don't really pay attention, you know, I'm too focused on what I got to do. So,
And as always, and if anybody's got questions, concerns, comments, feel free to give us a call
all
at the
right.
station, and
Yeah.
we're always happy to help.
And you have a Facebook page too.
Yes.
So
Yep.
if they want to message you, they could probably do that too. Or
Yeah, I'm not real good at
answering.
answering messages. One of my assistant chiefs does monitor
Okay.
pretty well, so
All right.
they
It'll
will
get you.
hit you back.
All right.
So,
All right, guys. Well, thanks, Jay, for popping on in. And you guys, hang tight because we have one more guest, and I'm going to leave you with this. Be mindful of heat and weather emergencies, and come out to the fireworks on Saturday, Logging the Heritage Festival. See you soon.